You know, the laws that shape our modern world, they can feel so incredibly complex, right? But have you ever stopped to think, where did they actually come from? Well, today, we're going to take a trip thousands of years into the past to find out. We're going to uncover the three ancient pillars that, believe it or not, still hold up our entire legal system today.
Okay, let's just pause on this for a second, because this one quote, this is our whole starting point. What it's telling us is that for the very first civilizations, law wasn't just about rules and punishments. No, it was something much, much bigger. It was this profound, cosmic quest to make human society fit with the order of the entire universe.
And that leads us right into our first chapter, a story that doesn't start in a courtroom, but actually starts by looking up at the stars in the world of ancient Egypt.
So, the Egyptians had this amazing concept for that universal order. They called it Ma'at. Now, Ma'at was pictured as a goddess, sure, but it was so much more than that. It was the fundamental force of balance, of truth, of justice that they believed ran through everything, from the sun rising every morning to how a pharaoh should act. It was the universe's natural rhythm.
And here's the key takeaway. For the Egyptians, a crime wasn't just you stealing from your neighbor. It was seen as an act that literally knocked the universe out of whack. So the whole point of their legal system wasn't just punishment. It was to restore that cosmic harmony, to get human life back in sync with the rhythm of the cosmos.
I mean, it's a beautiful idea, right? Super grand. But it brings up a massive practical problem. How on earth do you take this huge philosophical idea about cosmic balance and turn it into a real, working system that applies fairly to millions of people across a huge empire?
And that question, it leads us straight to our second pillar. We're going to jump forward in time a bit, over to ancient Rome, and see how they took these big, abstract ideas and hammered them into a practical, ironclad system that would literally change the world.
Now, what's so fascinating here is that Roman law wasn't some sudden invention. It was a project that took nearly 1,000 years to build. It started out with a pretty basic code that everyone could see, the 12 tables. Then, for centuries, generations of legal experts refined it, debated it, and finally it all came together in one of the most important legal books ever written.
And this just shows you the insane scale of what the Romans pulled off. This one collection of laws put together under Emperor Justinian became the actual blueprint for civil law pretty much everywhere in Europe, and from there it spread across the globe. It was an absolute masterclass in logic and organization.
But buried inside that massive, logical system was this tiny seed of an idea, a totally revolutionary one. The idea that the law should apply to everyone, equally, from the poorest farmer all the way up to the emperor himself. This one principle, that nobody is above the law, is probably Rome's greatest, most lasting gift to us.
Okay, so we've got law as cosmic order from Egypt, check, and law as an equal system from Rome, check. But there is a third, absolutely essential piece to this puzzle, and for this one, we have to stop looking outward and start looking inward.
And this next step, wow, it is a huge shift in thinking. We're moving away from external rules that are enforced by soldiers and judges, and we're stepping into the internal world of morality, of ethics, of your personal sense of right and wrong.
So this idea, which kind of grew up through centuries of faith and philosophy, it adds this powerful new layer. It basically says that real justice, true justice, starts inside you. Way before you ever have to face a judge, you first have to face the verdict of your own conscience. And that added this deep moral core to the whole idea of what law even is.
So, we've followed these three incredible threads through history. But you might be thinking, okay, that's nice history, but why does it matter to me, right now? Well, it matters because these ancient ideas, they aren't just sitting in a museum. They are alive, and they are at work all around us, every single day. All right, so let's just do a super quick recap. The three big pillars we've got are the Egyptian idea of law as cosmic order, the Roman demand for equal rule for everyone, and the philosophical concept of law as your own internal conscience. Got it? Okay, let's see where they pop up today. Yeah, because these aren't just separate, dusty ideas from a textbook. They actually weave together to form the very fabric of how we think about justice, a lot of times in places we would never even expect. Just think about it for a second. That deep down desire we all have for a stable, ordered society where things make sense. That's the ghost of Ma'at right there. And the core principle that all citizens are supposed to be treated the same under the law, that is pure Roman spirit, written right into the founding documents of our countries.
And it goes bigger. When you see countries coming together trying to agree on things like universal human rights, what are they doing? They're reaching for that same ideal, a single standard of justice that should apply to everyone, everywhere. It's Roman logic playing out on a global stage.
And finally, this is the most important one. When you stand up for what you believe is right, when you argue that something is unfair, when you listen to that little voice inside that says, hey, this is wrong, that is the court of your conscience at work. That's the engine that drives progress and lets us defend the rights we all hold so dear.
So these ancient roots, this cosmic, civic, and conscientious inheritance, it's ours. It's what built our past, it's what defines our present. And that really only leaves one final question, the one this has all been leading to. Now that we know where these powerful ideas come from, how are we, all of us, going to make sure they're the foundation?
Step beyond borders. Subscribe why it's free. Wisdom begins here.